I'm probably going to get a lot of heat for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I truly believe that Tekken 8 is vastly better than Tekken 7. I know, there's probably some of you guys that are clicking off the video right now because it's such a hot take, and then there's the other people that agree with me and they're like, Mike, what are you talking about? You're obviously correct. I'm humble, but now something you should keep in mind is that this is coming from someone who's only been playing Tekken, like actually playing it, for a year. My first experience with the series was years ago, playing Tekken 3 at an arcade, as was most people's first experience. Then a few years down the line, I played some Tekken 7, and then of course last year I decided to cover it on my channel. And since then, I have learned a lot about the series. I've played almost all of the games, even the Tekken 3 Game Boy Edition. I've at least played all the mainline games, and the tag tournament games. So I am by no means a Tekken veteran, but I'm also not a Tekken noob. Or you guys will still be like, oh, you haven't been playing for at least 5 years? Noob. But regarding my opening statement, for those of you that agree with me, I'm glad we see eye to eye here. But this video is mainly for those of you guys that don't agree with me, which is perfectly fine. That's why I love America. It's a free country, and stupid people can say stupid things online. Did I just call myself stupid? To truly go in depth on everything that the Tekken games have to offer would take way too long. So this is just going to be like surface level stuff. And if I do want to end up going in depth, I might just end up making it a video series or something to just break everything down, from the characters, the music, the accessibility, the online, the story. So while I will be touching up on all those things in this vid, that's all it'll be, just touching up on them. And if you disagree with any of my takes, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this matter, because I know to some people it can be a sensitive one. So first things first. Story. Tekken 7 story compared to Tekken 8 story. Tekken 8 is vastly better. Do I have anybody that disagrees with me? While at its core, both games have the same story skeletal structure, as with pretty much every fighting game, is just a cutscene, and then here's a fight, and then a cutscene, and then a fight. There's not much more you can do. So I think when comparing fighting game stories, it comes down to how they tell that story. And I'll say it, I'm one of the people that was not the biggest fan of how Tekken 7's story happened, how you're seeing it through the eyes of some reporter, instead of just following specific characters. He's like, I gotta interview Heihachi, I gotta interview Nina, I gotta interview Lars, it's like, bro, what? Dude, just cut out the middleman. And that's what Tekken 8 did. You played through most of the story as Jin, which was a bit of a bummer, but it's the Mishima saga, so it makes sense. And if you play through the whole story and now the story DLC, you get to play as like half the cast of characters. So that's awesome. Also, just the stupid, goofy, absolute nonsense that T8 story is. For those of you that haven't seen it already, I have a video of when I streamed it for the first time. I had not had that much fun in a long time. Still one of my favorite moments of this year. And the way that it tied everything together after years and years of conflict and everything to finally get the conclusion that we got was awesome. Then there's the story DLC where I have certain feelings about it, but overall I thought it was good. So yes, story, Tekken 8 wins in my opinion. Next up, I think it's worth going over the music. I kinda already did a video about this, and I got absolutely cooked in the comments. I was still new to the series, but you know what? I still stand by what I said. Does Tekken 7 have bangers? Absolutely. Tekken 7 has amazing music, but Tekken 8, bruh. I think there are only like 3 stage tracks that I don't like. I don't know who made the T8 soundtrack, but it's just banger after banger after banger. Some of you guys might have to take off your nostalgia glasses for just like 5 seconds, because let's be real here. T8 soundtrack, man, I'm just saying. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know down below. I don't know. From the menu music to the stage music to the opening theme, it's just so good, dude. Alright, next up we got characters. This is a pretty big one, but I'll try not to spend too much time on it. The problem with this is that Tekken 7's done. It's complete, right? We've had 4 seasons of DLC characters, so the roster is pretty expansive. And honestly, we got some good characters. Whether you like them or not, their addition to the game is really cool. Geese, Noctis, Negan, and that's just the guest characters, not even the returning characters. T7's roster is a beautiful thing. And with T8, they had to crack down quite a bit, releasing with only 32 characters, and I don't even know why I say only, because heck, that's more than Street Fighter. And T8 looks prettier, and the characters have way more moves than any Street Fighter character has ever had. So 32 characters is really good. And right now, with Heihachi being the latest DLC character, we're currently sitting at 35. 35 fighters. That's a beautiful thing. Is the roster perfect? No. Is it pretty close? In my opinion, yeah. There are very few characters here that I feel like shouldn't be here. Excuse me. One of those would probably be Panda. As much as I love her, don't get me wrong, I do think that she'd be fine just being a Kuma skin. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Then there's Azucena. I know she was kind of supposed to be the replacement for Josie, and while I do like her more than Josie, don't kill me, I'm still not the biggest fan of her. They got all the classic characters in here, which I think is great, and I'm interested to see where the next few seasons of the DLC goes, regarding what fighters we're going to get, whether it's returning characters or more guest characters. I think Season 1 DLC has been pretty solid. Lydia is the one that I haven't really been interested in the most, but Eddie and Heihachi, heck yeah, dude. Two characters I'd really like to see, and you guys probably already know this, Lei Wulong and Ogre. Or Mokujin. Either between Ogre and Mokujin would be pretty cool. But no, 100% Lei. If they add Lei, it's curtains. It's over. Best roster ever. Am I biased? Yeah, I am. So while it is a little bit hard to compare right now, since Tekken 7's roster is complete and T8's isn't, I'm still leaning more towards T8. Stages. I think it's without a shadow of a doubt that visually this game just looks better than Tekken 7, and we all know that that's due to the budget that they had when making T7, since Tekken Tag Tournament 2 unfortunately didn't do as well as they were hoping, and honestly Tekken 7 wasn't looking the best either, but luckily it ended up turning things around, and now we have Tekken 8. With the next-gen consoles and whatnot, Tekken 8 easily wins visually. That's just, it is what it is. Not that visuals are everything, but they certainly help. And that plays into the stages, because holy crud, are the stages in this game beautiful. And I don't really see why anybody would disagree with me on that. I love how diverse the stages are. All of them have different tones and feel, and besides Arena and Arena Underground, I think that's the one stage that we could do without. Like, I don't get that. Not a fan. Never have been. Probably never will be. And maybe Rebel Hangar. That one seems a little bland to me. I did a stage tier list. Feel free to go watch that. I give all the reasons why I like or dislike every stage in the game. But regardless of whether you like a particular stage, you can't deny that it looks gorgeous. And the detail in the background that they've put and the music, it's just, it's so good, dude. It's so good. And I feel like most people who prefer Tekken 7 over Tekken 8 will argue that it doesn't have infinite stages. And we all know why they did that. Rest in peace, Infinite Azor. Rest in peace. But speaking of why they no longer have infinite stages, let's move over to gameplay. Now, this will definitely depend on who you ask, whether they're more of a casual player or a pro player, but I love Tekken 8's playstyle. It's way more fast-paced, way more aggressive, and I know a lot of people had a problem with that when the game first came out. It was just you had to play aggressive or else you're cooked. Luckily, with the 1.05 patch, they really fixed sidestepping and being able to decide to play more defensively, and they've just been improving on that ever since, which is really nice. But I love how aggressive T8 is, man. I liked Tekken 7, but I didn't enjoy how defensively people would play. It was just them throwing out the same safe option over and over again, hoping that their opponent would mess up, and then once they got him in the air, it was just, here's a 40-hit combo. It's going to take you across the entire stage and take up half the match's time. It was kind of just whoever messes up first loses. And while that is still the case with Tekken 8, I also just feel like you have more options. You can be aggressive and get away with certain things. You can be dumb. It's just more fun. You just throw random stuff out. I know some people call it YOLO Tekken, and they don't like it, but I think it makes for the most interesting matches, man. Some just crazy stuff will happen. You're like, what? It keeps the game fresh, in my opinion. And keeping it fresh keeps it fun. So that's just what I think, but again, I'm not a pro player or anything. Pro players probably still prefer Tekken 7 over Tekken 8, competitively, at least. There are some other little features that we could compare with both games, but the last one that I want to talk about today is online. Holy crud. This is an interesting one because Tekken 8's online is far from perfect, but in my personal opinion, it's still better than Tekken 7. T7 just felt like it always took 5 minutes for you to get into a match. Whether it was the game struggling to find you an opponent, or they found you an opponent, and then you hit accept, and then you're just stuck in the loading screen forever. Was it just me? With T8, it almost frustrates me how fast it is sometimes, because I'm like, hold on, I want to practice this combo while I'm waiting for my next match, and it's just instantaneous, boom, here's your next fight. It's like, okay. I know they had the whole issue with, like, the matchmaking, and I still don't understand why we don't get points when our opponent rage quits. So, again, not perfect, but way more fine-tuned than T7 in my opinion. T7 online just always felt like a hassle. T8 still got some work to do, don't get me wrong. I've listed my problems about it before. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. That's the few reasons why I think Tekken 8 is better than Tekken 7. If you vastly disagree with me, feel free to write an essay in the comments down below. I may or may not read it, I can't promise anything. If you do agree, just I guess hit the like button. But yeah, if you made it this far, I really appreciate you watching the entire vid. If you want to talk to me personally, feel free to join the Discord. That link will be down in the description below. And that'll do it for me today, guys. God bless, and don't forget to stay mad.